and welcome back to Ellie Smells. Today I'm going to be giving you my review on the Phantom by Paco Rabbane. This is the newest fragrance for men 2021. So as you'll see from the bottle, it's shaped like a robot. I don't know if you noticed, but most of the Paco Rabbane fragrances are actually in quite funky, quirky bottles. Their first creation was in 1969, which was the Calandre for women, and since then they've come a long way. They've made them more eye-catching. So in the case of the 1 million for men, that comes in like a gold bar. The Invictus is in the trophy, and the latest is a robot. So it's silver glass, and then on the front you have a cutout of the Paco Rabbane label or logo, and you can actually see through to the scent that's inside. The top of the bottle is plastic. It has a black scanner, which I think is for the eyes, and that's actually the spray. So that's the bottle, quite heavy, but the novelty, or should I say the creative part of this bottle, is the fact that it also has the ability to be interactive. So you can take your phone, put it onto Bluetooth and tap it against the top, and this will take you to Instagram, where you can upload photographs and the little robot or your wingman is inserted in there. You also can go on to games, and I think there's other features as well, but don't quote me because I'm not tech minded. I use my phone as an alarm clock. Tim has tried it, don't know how successful he was, but definitely from the bottle this is giving me vibes of some films that I've seen. So years ago when I was younger, there used to be a programme called Lost in Space that had a robot on it. And then when I've seen the ad from Paco Rabbane, it took me straight to Star Wars, where all the Star Wars characters were in this intergalactic bar, where there was different aliens, different people.
Get this, middle of a fragrance review, she starts talking Star Wars. I'll never live it down.
And I think that whole vibe is supposed to be that you can be yourself and be your unique, authentic self in whatever surrounding you are. So I think that's what they're going for. So that's where that takes me back to Star Wars and to Lost in Space. So that's your little robot there, and that's the bottle. So let's try the fragrance. The Phantom is an aromatic woody creation, and it was created by 4 fragrance creators. We have Dominique Ropignon and Filippo, who have created fragrances for Lancôme, Frédéric Marly, Paco Rabanne and Jean-Paul Gaultier, to name a few. And then we have a gentleman called Loc Dong, who is known for his creativity, and then I'm going to call the lady Juliette K. And that's purely for the fact that I cannot pronounce her name, and I really don't want to get it wrong. So Tim will write the name and then you can have a go yourself. And she's known for her creativity with natural essences and fragrances. So these 4 people put together this fragrance, also using technology that selects different essences that you probably wouldn't necessarily combine, and then they've fine-tuned it and they've come up with the Phantom, the woody aromatic. So I'm going to spray now, and let's see what I think to this. So straight away I am getting sweet citrusy notes, and it is quite sweet initially. So I know in the top note you've got lavender. So lavender is a note that is on all 3 layers of this particular fragrance. And then you've got lemon and a mouthfeel lemon. So it's quite energising and zesty to start with. So that's the opener. Definitely I'm starting to feel that it's getting a bit more powdery. Now I know that in the heart notes you've got that lavender again, you've got apple, which is slightly, I suppose that's going to make it quite crisp and fresh, and you've got smoky earthy notes and patchouli, which is bringing in those woody vibes. I have to admit, probably on the start, I'm not a huge fan because it is quite sweet. Sweet and tangy, I think, initially. And I think with that powderiness, it can be quite heady. As it starts to dry down, if I waft this a couple of more times.
Well, if that hasn't got Oscar written all over it, I'll eat my invitation to the award ceremony.
It should just start to hopefully just settle a bit more. In the base, I think this is probably where the sweetness is coming from. You've got vanilla, you've got the lavender again, and you've also got vetiver. And vetiver is from the same family as the lemongrass, so it can be quite fresh but also earthy and woody. So I'm definitely getting the aromatic part. Again, I think it's going to take a little while. It's quite sweet and woody at the moment. Now, saying that, I know the other day that Tim had a cheeky squirt of this, and when he came and picked me up, I could smell something on him in the car, and I said, "What are you wearing?" I thought initially it might have been his Prada, which has similar essences. It's a bit aromatic, but there was a note to it that really initially it didn't like, and he said he was wearing this, and I said, "Yeah, I don't think that's for you." But then about 4 hours later, we went back. He said to me, "What do you think to it now?" And I smelt it on his skin, and a lot of the sweetness had gone, and it really did become more of a woody essence, a lot more pleasant on his skin. So I think that this is going to be one that you need to probably let it rest and let it settle on the skin, because I have to admit that initially it's not one that I would say would be a go-to for Tim or really anyone that I know. I can imagine that maybe somebody that wears the Prada or wears the Bad Boy by Carolina Herrera, the Scandal by Jean-Paul Gaultier, or even Le Mal by Jean-Paul Gaultier would find this fragrance would work well on them. But in my opinion, I don't know, it's a bit of a funny one, because the bottle, I think, has a novelty about it that some people will buy purely for the bottle. Some people say, "Oh my goodness, that's amazing, love the fact that it's a robot." On the other hand, there'll be people thinking, "Yes, don't really like the bottle, it's maybe a little tacky." And that generally probably, for me, tends to be some of the older people coming in and buying it. And I would have thought that I would have said that this was a fragrance that was probably more appealing towards the sort of like teens to maybe 40s. I think that's probably the demographic it's going for, especially with all the things about go in and tap in and, you know, all the things that are interactive. I think that's generally something that appeals to those generations. However, I think the thing that stands out to me more so from it is that I think that the bottle for me is designed more towards the younger generation. But when this fragrance actually settles, it's something that I can imagine someone of 40 or older wearing. So it doesn't seem to be particularly cohesive. And this is where I say, go and try the fragrance. Forget what the bottle looks like. I understand why that a lot of them do these quirky bottles. It's because that people, when they come into stores, might not remember the fragrance that they're wearing, but they can always remember the bottle. So making the bottle stand out, they'll say, "Oh, Ellie, I don't know what it is. I can't remember the name, but it's that robot shaped bottle." So absolutely, then you know automatically what fragrance it was that they love. The other thing which I think is a bit of a downside to this fragrance is the fact that the technology is only available on 100ml and 150ml. So it means that people that are going in and buying the 50ml gift sets or the 50ml bottles will not be able to be interactive. It's not a feature that's available on those bottles. The other thing that I've also found out is that the bottles are refillable, but the only bottle that it is refillable is the 150ml. So again, for those people that are trying to maybe sort of like keep the budget down slightly by getting a 50ml for around about £55 or the 100ml for £76, won't be able to refill them. So that's a shame. I just think that basically it should be, for me, something that's either on every bottle and every bottle's refillable, and the same with the interaction. I think that if they're selling it as something that's interactive, it should be available on all of the bottles. But that's just my opinion. But I think that this would be a good fragrance suit throughout the day. We found that when Tim wore it, you could definitely smell it from across the room, so it got a really good projection. And on his skin, he found that it lasted a really good 6 to 7 hours. But again, that depends on your skin type. It depends on what you like to smell like, what fragrances remind you of being you. So always go into store, try them out, and always let me know what you think. Because like I say, this is my opinion. You might have tried it, loved it. So let me know. Let me know what you think to it if you've managed to get your hands on it, and if you've actually done some Instagram photographs or anything else like that. That's interesting as well. Anyway, that's my review on the Phantom, the latest fragrance from Paco Rabanne for men. And I'll see you again soon on Ellie Smells. And don't forget to check out some of my other reviews. Take care. Bye for now.